18 free throws. Alabama A&M gets a season-opening 80-60 win over Blue Mountain. Monday Night Football, Arizona's Jacoby Brissett would throw for 2 touchdowns, run for another for the injured Kyler Murray. Cardinals end a 5-game skid, downing the Dallas Cowboys 27-17. College football news, Auburn interim head football coach DJ Durkin announcing that Derek Nix will be the primary play caller on offense for the Tigers as they take on Vanderbilt Saturday. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
This is Bill Crawford with Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy was built on treating athletes, and today we treat so much more. Whether you're a high school competitor, weekend warrior, or recovering from surgery, Johnson & Hayes pairs you with a dedicated therapist for one-on-one consistent care. We offer specialized programs in sports rehab, neurological therapy, pelvic health, post-concussion care, and more. Founded by lifelong athletes, trusted by top physicians across Alabama, Johnson & Hayes delivers results. Visit johnsonandhayes.com and get back to what you love.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV. Joe Hunk. John Abraham. 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
And welcome in to the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester for the first hour, and WZZN TV all day long. And I'm not exaggerating. We are going to be on all day long as you can look forward to a wonderful night over at the Huntsville Iceplex, where me and Joe Hunk will be live for the Havoc Hours. It officially makes its return back as the Huntsville Havoc started their season just a week ago, and now we get into all of the hockey news, we get it all into the football news, and we continue on with some of the baseball news that we haven't touched on too much. And hey, also basketball season is just getting ramped up, so we got that night as well for you here on the Blitz. 2 hours of sports talk, goofs, gaffs, and so much more, including your phone calls at 256-576-97.7. And the first thing I want to get out of the way, Joe, before we talk about our very, very fun, very long day, is actually going to be the Wacky Underdog Picks. Halfway through, we are calling it a season. No, I'm just kidding. We're not calling it a season. We're calling it the halfway point.
I basically phoned in the season anyway because I kept betting on Columbia.
And you need to get serious, Joe.
Yeah, I actually need to take this serious now because the first time I kept wanting to be the guys like I tried telling you. Mm-hmm. All right, I'll have to hold off until August of next year.
There needs to be a reason why we compete outside of just having fun. All right. I think what we should do is if we win, nobody gets any prizes. All right. How about that? And if that were the case, and I said that a week ago, then Josh would not get the prizes because he, of course, gets the dub at the end of the halfway point at 27.5 points. Now, I was close, all right? I picked Kentucky to upset Auburn this past week, and it happened. I have 27 points, believe it or not. Behind me is Jason at 25.5. That is the top three, so congratulations to those two guys as well as myself. Thank you, everybody. But Josh, you will be getting a boatload of prizes from our Big Zone Deals market, so make sure you look forward to that, and of course get into contact with us so we can get that out to you in a timely manner. But there's a lot of news going around, and on top of that, it all comes down to the NFL and the trade deadline ending at 4:00 today. So Joe,
After that huge trade the Cowboys made?
No, it wasn't that big.
You mean the one that Jerry Jones wanted to make out like he had just traded for the next Micah Parsons?
It's big to him, all right? It's big to him. So far, it is
really big for him?
Trade of the day, and it is.
He stopped being the one that tried to make the trades. That'd be the one that'd be big for him.
I agree with you on that one, Joe. I agree with you because I don't know if he exactly knows what sport he owns a team for. So, we're just going to wait and see what happens. I don't know how they lose last night.
I do.
In a game where
they're awful.
Their defense is awful. But that's why they acquired Bengals veteran linebacker Logan Wilson. So he's heading on to Dallas. But the Cowboys last night, which you could have listened to it on our airways over on Talk Radio WZZN. Of course, we had Alabama basketball
going. Right, we put something good on the air.
Well, yes. I don't think anybody, except for maybe a select few people who care about the Cowboys who listen to our station, I don't know how many people are fans of the Cardinals, but the Cardinals end a 5-game losing streak last night with a 27-17 win over those said Dallas Cowboys, and Jacoby Brissett was the starting quarterback, as of course we see Kyler Murray injured for the next few weeks, but 21 of 31, 261 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. And Jacoby Brissett, I don't want to say anything bad about him, but he is a serviceable backup quarterback. That's about all he is. Whereas the Dallas Cowboys have an amazing offense full of so much talent. Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, what a surprise he is, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Ferguson. And I'm not even saying George Pickens because he's the second wide receiver for this squad. But they failed to put up enough points at home against the Cardinals team who's been sliding down a mountain as of late. And it all comes back to that Micah Parsons trade at the beginning of the season. The defense is horrible, Joe.
It is horrible, but also on the offensive side of this, every time I had the game pulled up and I was just kind of casually paying attention to it, and every single time I looked up, I, for some reason, was seeing Dak Prescott get sacked. And I was like, oh, look at that garbage. Okay, that's great. And, you have one of the better running backs in the NFL. He couldn't do anything. I mean, he finished, I think, the game with like 80-something yards. And then CeeDee Lamb wasn't able to get anywhere close to the end zone as well. And look, again, this is kind of the same thing whenever we talked yesterday about Auburn. And when I said, pay attention to what Cole Kubelik was saying and the way that he was saying it, because just like in regular athletics, that's only about 10% of the truth of what he was wanting to say. Troy Aikman was the exact same way last night, except he basically was just looking at the camera going, I don't know what this trade's going to do because they're awful. Look at what they're doing on the field. He literally said that about the team that has his number in the rafters. Now, that's also good that he can do that because that continues to show that he's being right down the middle. But at the same time, he's looking down and he's just being blunt about how awful the Cowboys are. And I think, honestly, he could probably be even more just like, I'm so hard on Auburn. People are like, man, you hate Auburn. No, I actually love Auburn. But I'm harsh on them because I love them so much. And I think that was the same thing with Troy Aikman last night. He's like, they started talking about the trade that Jerry Jones kept hinting at. And he's going, well, unless it's for an entirely like new this and that, there's no trade that's going to help this team because look at how they're playing on the field.
Yeah.
They're a bad team. And I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's Jerry Jones. I don't know what it was. I mean, look, the Logan Wilson deal, the problem with Logan Wilson has nothing to do with Logan Wilson. He's played 6 years in the NFL. 4 of those seasons, he's had over 100 yards or 100 tackles. He's got 11 total career interceptions. He is a good linebacker. He is a guy that honestly can help the defense.
Yep.
It's the problem is that when that little old man down up there that's starting to look like the crypt keeper starts talking, everybody wants to think that they just traded for the newest Joe Montana or the next great Ronnie Lott. Like that's exactly what because he makes it sound like, now that's him. He's a showman. He's a hype man. That's exactly what he does. But what's happened now is he's put Logan Wilson in a position that if Logan Wilson doesn't come out in his first game, has 15 tackles and 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery, people are just going to be like, oh, so this was the big trade that Jerry kept talking about? No, Jerry just said we had made a trade and it'll become official tomorrow night or tomorrow. Like that's all he kept saying. But because it's Jerry Jones, everybody and their brother starts saying, oh, yep, this is it. We just traded for Jeff Simmons. That's it. This defensive line is about to be it. Y'all, it's over now. We just gave y'all a head start. Nope. Logan Wilson. Again, good linebacker.
Yep.
Hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet, but he's also a fantastic tackler and somebody that can actually help the defense for the Cowboys. It's just that little old man Jerry up there has done putting behind an 8 ball because Jerry made it sound like he was just trading for the embryo of the next great Hall of Famer that just he created in a lab somewhere.
No. And it is a tough situation because, of course, you need more than just one piece. And with all of that cap going towards the offense, of course, I mean, you're looking at a defense that is slowly but surely going to build up. But I'm wondering how it could get, solidified before it gets taken down again, because you need to draft and get some of these picks. You can't just pick up guys left and right on the free agency and expect your team to be solid. And the same with the trade. You can pick up a few guys. Your defense can look a little bit better. But if you want to completely change what your defense can do, you need to be able to draft those players.
Majority of NFL teams win because of the draft. Mm-hmm. It is not because of free agency. This is the direct opposite of the NBA. This is the direct opposite of Major League Baseball. It is a total different sport when it comes to the ability that you need on the field. You have got to recruit, or I should say draft well. And then in free agency, when the recruiting actually starts to happen, where you can entice players to come to your facility, that's where you fill in the holes with either a veteran guy that can lead a wide receiver group or a linebacker group and continue to grow young talent, or maybe you get a generational talent that's towards the end of his career, like an Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or one of those players. That's how you do this in the NFL. Getting offensive line help and rebuilding your entire offensive line through free agency is not a thing.
Yeah. It's weird, too, because it's the total opposite of college football right now because, of course, the recruits are a big deal, but right now the transfer portal hits the hardest.
Well, in college football, that's eventually going to change as well because eventually the money is going to run out. You just have 170-something schools that players can choose from, and all they need is one school to say, hey, yeah, we'll pay you this money. Yeah. Whereas in the NFL, they have got to massage that cap constantly. And so the only way you're going to improve your offensive line is through the draft. Again, looking at the Titans, the best wide receivers that have played for the Titans in 2025 are not the ones that they have signed in free agency.
Mm-mm.
It's not Calvin Ridley.
Nope.
It is not Van Jefferson. It is not Tyler Lockett, who's already gone from the team. Yeah.
Who's he on now? The Raiders? I think he's on the Raiders.
Heck, I don't know.
I don't think
I have no idea. I mean, I didn't want him on the Titans. I mean, he was not a guy that was going to solidify the wide receiver room. He was a veteran guy that at one point in time was a fantastic player at being a third down wide receiver that was going to be able to make the catch and get you touchdowns in the end zone. That's great.
How many of those can we count, though, that fizzled out on the Titans, though?
Well, it's because what happens is because these players, the Titans get them not when they're starting to fade, but after they've already fade. Like, as much as we bash Bill Belichick for everything that he's doing now with North Carolina, the one thing that he used to do brilliantly with the Patriots was trade a player away before they started to decline. Mm-hmm. And Vince Wilfork is probably the best example of that because he was almost at his height of his career with New England. He gets traded away, I want to say to Houston, if I remember correctly, and that was towards the end of his career. This is what happens with receivers is they automatically just hit a wall. And Calvin Ridley, 1,000-yard receiver last year. Does he even have 200 yards this year? I mean, I'm being serious. I don't know. Probably because I've barely seen him on a field because of the injury.
I'd probably say a little bit over, but I'm just picking the over on it.
I mean,
he's the surest wide receiver, at least veteran-wise, for the Titans. But you see them going to numerous other wide receivers.
Yeah, because they go to DK, yep. they go to Ayumanor, they go to those players. Even Chig, who could not hold on to a football 2 years ago, has become a better receiver right now than what Calvin Ridley is because he is healthy. By the way, he has 290 yards receiving.
Yep, a little bit over.
Barely over 200 yards. And he's only played in 6 total games so far this season.
Yeah, drops have been a problem for Calvin Ridley. But again, going back to what you said, Joe, you don't win with the free agency picks. No. I mean, think about the last free agency pick not just for the Titans, but in general, that has really changed a team. And you can even look at the Texans right now, the Patriots. I keep forgetting that Texans didn't work out with him too well. But Stephon Diggs, another player that you think is going to make an impact. He's finally starting to have that impact in New England, but it hasn't really shown in that test with Texans.
Look, Stephon Diggs' best years was when he was in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Even when he started and he was with Buffalo, that was a period where he was still a premier wide receiver, but he also started to see it fade. Then you go to Houston, and he barely does anything in Houston, and now he's with New England, where really he is acting what Julio Jones was acting like when Julio was a part of this team in 21 with the Titans.
But guess how many yards?
He's a veteran presence that can make catches, but don't expect him to have another one of those 152-yard or 2 touchdown games.
No doubt about it. And of course, Stephon Diggs has only lately started showing off his abilities to be one of the best in the league. Of course, he's got more yards than a guy like Calvin Ridley. He's at 508 on the season, but a majority of those yards came after that Panthers game in the middle point of the season. But of course, we talked a lot about the trades. We talked about the transfers. There's going to be a lot more trades going on. And although it doesn't work out in the NFL as much as the college, I do want to talk a little bit of Oklahoma in the next segment. We're going to be talking with Josh Calloway from 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports as well. And he's going to be giving us a little bit of the lowdown of these Sooners who were able to get the best of the Tennessee Volunteers at Neyland Stadium this past week, and what their path forward might be, because this right now is looking like a playoff team sitting at 7-2 and 11th in the country. We'll be talking to Josh Calloway next here on The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch The Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
Tide fans,
here comes the Tide.
Let's go.
At 1 for the win. Ball game.
Grab your hard hats and tune in for blue collar basketball with the Crimson Tide all season long on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live artfully. Live Stella.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
Firehawk Aerospace is a non-traditional defense contractor advancing the state of propulsion to strengthen the U.S. Defense Initiative. Founded in 2019, Firehawk Aerospace established early leadership in manufactured propulsion with the development of 3D printed hybrid rocket fuel grains. Visit firehawkaerospace.com to learn more. That's firehawkaerospace.com.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader. that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. Great news. This offer is now extended through the end of December. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun, legendary food.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Not as chilly as we head into the overnight compared to what we've seen other nights across the Tennessee Valley. We're only going to drop into the mid and upper 40s. Plenty of sunshine as we head into your Wednesday. We're going to climb into the low and mid 70s Wednesday afternoon. Should be a great day. Dropping into the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head into the overnight. Thursday equally as nice. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the lower 70s.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Get up off that high horse. Get up off this train. Get up off that high horse and drop that thing on me.
Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee all picked up wins last night on the basketball court as the season is officially underway for all 3 of them. Also, for 2 of those 3 teams, it was a very easy night. Just like everything else in Auburn, we had to make it difficult. So, hey, great job on your win. Maybe don't foul a guy when he's standing at midcourt and trying to throw in a desperation 3, and then he goes up to the line and drains all 3 free throws to send it to overtime. How about that? Let's just try to be better at that game that you get paid to play. How about that? 256-576-4977 is also how you can get in on the Blitz this afternoon. I have no idea what day or time it is at this point.
You look a little tired, and we got a long day. So
I need a sugar-free watermelon Red Bull. Anybody that wants to bring one by, I'm all for it because I need one right now to wake up. I don't know why I'm so tired. My son actually had his very first wrestling practice last night, and that was 2 hours long. So that may play into it because it totally threw everything off.
Wrestling, the way that they do it makes me tired as well.
Yeah, no, he thought he was going to have a finishing move. Apparently don't have that. Don't know. I'm learning. I know nothing about real wrestling.
Yeah, well,
nothing.
I don't know. I mean, give it a few years and maybe he'll have a finishing move. But I know one guy that can't bring you that Red Bull, and it's Josh Calloway. From 247 Sports because he's out in Oklahoma right now. I feel like he's probably pretty happy at that because, of course, his Sooners were able to pick up the dub this past weekend against the Tennessee Volunteers. A big win right there, possibly even an elimination match in that game in Neyland Stadium. But also basketball team playing pretty well. But Josh Calloway joins us right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Josh, how you feeling today, sir?
Doing well. I'm with you guys on tired. It was a long weekend in Tennessee. Great weekend. It was awesome. Probably my favorite road game I've ever been to. But it was a lot. It was a late night on Saturday. Got back late last night, and then the timing of college basketball season starting yesterday not ideal, but we press on. This is what we do, you know.
doubt.
So it was an awesome, it's been an awesome last few days, certainly for Oklahoma, kind of all around.
Did you make the drive, or was that a flight?
We flew. We did fly, but we flew from Nashville, which, you know, I wasn't really up on my Tennessee geography. Knoxville's not exactly close. It's like almost 3 hours. So after the late night Saturday, it was like a 7:50 local kick time on Saturday. The drive back to Nashville, then the flight. It just kind of it was a lot. It was a lot of a journey, but it was worth it. It's definitely worth it.
No doubt. And Knoxville, of course, a very beautiful, beautiful city. And the campus that they got over there for the Volunteers, pretty nice at that. Did you stop anywhere in Nashville or in Knoxville and grab a bite? Because we're huge on food here at 97.7. We got to know, you know, if there's any local places that me and Joe may know, because Joe worked up in Nashville for a few years. I lived up there for a little bit as well. Was there anywhere that you stopped? Maybe got some Nashville hot chicken or something like that?
Did do the Nashville hot chicken on Friday night. We went to Prince's hot chicken on Friday night. It was great. That was fantastic. And then Saturday morning, we got breakfast somewhere. Can't remember the name. I got a breakfast sandwich at a spot that was pretty good in downtown. But yeah, no. And then we went to an Italian sandwich place on Sunday. Cause I had time. My flight Sunday wasn't back until late. I think it was called Little Hats. On Sunday.
Nice.
Had a bunch of like different sandwiches, Italian sandwiches and stuff. Really good place on Sunday in Nashville. So it was an awesome weekend out there for sure. Knoxville I thought was really, really cool. I wasn't there. Obviously I was predominantly in Nashville other than for the game itself, but the you know, we did get to see campus a little bit and I thought it was great. I thought Knoxville was really, really cool, really nice campus. And obviously Neyland Stadium is just one of those places that just the size of it kind of grabs you, because obviously the stadium out here in Oklahoma is big. I mean, obviously it's one of those places in Norman it's a stadium that's very well known, but Neyland's got it by 20,000 people almost. I mean, it's about 85,000 in Norman, so it gets over 100 in Knoxville. It catches you right when you walk in. You're like, oh yeah, you can see the difference on the sheer size of it.
It's like cool. A wall, isn't it? Cool. Like when you walk in, it's a wall of.
It's massive.
Yes,
it's completely massive, and it's like when you're in one end zone and you look across the other end zone at the very top row on the opposite side. It feels like those people are miles away from you. They're so far. It's unreal.
Well, it definitely is a pretty good home environment, but for the Vols, they weren't able to use that to their advantage. I mean, talk about how the Sooners were able to just kind of get past that sound. And on Spooky Top night, of all nights, I mean, the black jerseys were out represented, and then you get that Spooky Top song going in the fourth quarter. I mean, how does a team like Oklahoma play through that type of pressure that's on them?
Yeah, you know, it was really impressive. I think, in Brent Venables' fourth year, I have a hard time, saying that any win it was more impressive for that reason. I mean, to go in there, because I felt it pregame, even like, man, if Oklahoma wins this might be the most impressive win of the Brent Venables era if they can find a way to get in here and actually do this. And they did it. I mean, despite not really doing a whole lot of good things in the first half, it was the power of turnovers. I mean, that was really kind of what it boiled down to. I mean, over the course of the season, Oklahoma, defensively, it's been really, really good, right? It's been the strength of the team, but they've been horrendous at forcing turnovers. And lo and behold, here they come. They get a huge scoop and score, obviously early in the game when they were down 7-0, and it felt like they were kind of, behind the 8 ball already. Yeah. That completely flipped the game. They get a couple of interceptions that directly led to field goals before the end of the first half. And even though at halftime, Tennessee was, I think, 6 of 8 on third downs and was almost tripling them in yardage, Oklahoma had the lead. And then you go into the second half, and that was the best half that John Mateer has played since before the thumb injury. And he looked much more like himself. He made some plays with his legs, and, the defense got some big stops, and you look up and you found a way to do it. So it was really, really impressive. And they just kind of, like you said, they handled it pretty well. They played well in Columbia 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, this team seems to just kind of like being on the road, I guess. I mean, so far so good, on the road. So give them a lot of credit. They're going to need to do it again. They go to Tuscaloosa next weekend. It doesn't get any easier. So that's the SEC, but very impressive to go out there, because it was. I remember the very first Oklahoma possession and the very first third down kind of being like, whoa, like this is different from a noise perspective. And they handled it pretty well, all things considered, obviously, and got out of there with a huge win.
Well, you talk about that scoop and score by R. Mason Thomas, and I got to say, that was one of the wildest plays that I've seen all football season. It looked like he was probably going to get taken down, and then he throws the man off, and then it's just a whole lot of Oklahoma players just in a line pretty much running into the end zone. I mean, talk about how that kind of quieted the crowd and maybe even changed the pace of this game. And also, have you seen Thomas run that fast before?
R. Mason Thomas is an athlete, man. He is unreal to watch, and obviously he's an elite edge rusher, and he's a great guy to talk to. And that was an unbelievable play that completely changed the game. And you know, you don't want to be too hyperbolic or overstate anything too much, but it changed Oklahoma's season, right? And maybe direction of program, right? I mean, that was a huge win for Brent Venables, and the way this game started was awful. I mean, Tennessee goes right down the field and scores to start the game. Oklahoma gets stopped, and Tennessee is moving right down the field again. And I don't know if Oklahoma can come out of a 14-0 hole right away like that. The way that crowd was going already, it was looking pretty bleak the first 5 minutes or so. And then that play happens. Owen Heineke, who's a walk-on linebacker who's had a heck of a season, kind of out of nowhere. Code McKenzie, the starting linebacker, misses the game with a groin injury. Owen Heineke has to wear the green dot. He's calling the offense as a walk-on, and he comes off the edge and just blows up Joey Aguilar, pokes the ball free, and then R. Mason Thomas, I mean, that's one of the best one-man efforts I've ever seen. I mean, to scoop it with one arm while the tight end for Tennessee is draped all over him, and then he stiff-arms him for like 25 yards down the field, and then somehow houses it. He also, around like the 20-yard line, you can tell he hurts his quad.
Yeah.
He pulls up and he limps the last like 15 yards, doesn't play the rest of the game. But that was obviously just an absolutely massive play. I mean, it really can't be overstated because, it flipped everything. And after that, Oklahoma's defense was able to settle in a little bit, force some more turnovers later. And, again, it can't help but think if they fall down 14-0 right there, it's hard to see a world where they're able to climb out of that. So to not only get the stop, but then to also score it, all of a sudden you're in a tie game despite kind of getting smacked around the first part of the game was unbelievable. Easily the biggest play of Oklahoma's season, obviously, so far.
Well, and you mentioned the fact that you guys will be traveling to Tuscaloosa next week. I know that you have an off week this week. And obviously it's another reason or another week that John Mateer can continue to get healthy after the injury. But, I know he says that this is not his thumb, but as far as you're walking and watching this game, he has yet to have a QBR since he returned that's better than in anything that he did before the injury. He hasn't had a great passing game that's gotten him 250, 280, even 300 yards. So what is it with him right now? Because most of the time, the only teams that beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa is when they have a dynamic quarterback playing for them.
Yeah, that's what we've all been trying to figure out, because like you said, John has never made an ounce of an excuse in terms of the thumb. He insists that the thumb is fine. But then you see, he's still wearing the brace on it, right? So obviously it's not 100%. And then, you see the video pregame where he dabs up a fan and kind of grimaces after that. And it's like, man, I mean, clearly it's not 100% still. And so having a weekend to not play, it will be huge this weekend because, I mean, he did come back very quickly. I mean, when the injury first happened, there was a thought that he's going to miss, about a month. And he came back and played against Texas, only 17 days removed, from that surgery. And, it clearly, I don't know if it's a thumb because he's also been, the decision-making hasn't been the same. And frankly, the run game hadn't been the same. He's looked slow until Saturday night in Knoxville. That was the first time in the second half that we've seen him make plays with his legs since earlier in the year, because that was really kind of the biggest element missing. I mean, like the turnovers obviously will jump out, and the lack of like downfield passing certainly is a key factor too. But when he had it rolling early in the year, he was making a lot of things happen with his feet, and that was not happening at all, certainly in Dallas against Texas or in the loss to Ole Miss. And so to see him in the second half on a 3rd and 16 scramble for a first down and make some more plays like that as the game went along, and he just seemed to be playing with a little more of like the edge and confidence that he had early in the year too. Like it seemed like things kind of switched for him a little bit finally, because I think especially after Texas where he had 3 turnovers and they were all backbreaking in their own way, it seemed like he was a little timid to kind of let it rip downfield the last couple of weeks going into Knoxville. And so maybe he found a little bit of juice. It seems just, again, a little bit more like the guy we saw earlier in the year. So hopefully, a week off where he can rest that thumb a little more, and then, you come back out and he's feeling a little more confident after what he did out there. You can ride that because, like you said, I mean, you're going to completely need him to play at a high level. He's going to need his best game of the year for Oklahoma to go out there and win, next weekend. But with what he did in the second half on Saturday night, you're feeling like, hey, maybe that could happen, So that was really encouraging, I think, if you're an Oklahoma fan coming out of Saturday to see what he did in the second half.
Josh Calloway with us from 247 Sports, CBS Sports as well on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Covers all things Oklahoma Sooners and looking forward, of course. We've talked a little bit about that Alabama game. The squad's already 7-2. If you lose one more of these games, is there still a possibility you might pick up the Missouri, the LSU game, get that win, or possibly, win against Alabama, then maybe lose to a Missouri team? Is there a path where this team could get into the playoffs with 3 losses?
Yeah, maybe. I think we're trying to figure that out too. I think at 9-3, I think the only way where maybe would be a close loss out in Tuscaloosa, and then you go win your last 2. Would still be favored in those last 2. They have Missouri and LSU both at home, which, at one point in the year, those both look like going to be really big, huge, tough home games to close. But obviously, as the season's gone on, Missouri's on their 3rd quarterback right now. LSU obviously had to fire Brian Kelly. Like, it kind of feels like those are more manageable than before. Not gimmies by any means, but more manageable. And so it's like, man, if they can at least, put up a good showing against Tuscaloosa and finish out 9-3, they'll have an argument. I think I tend to lean that they would not still make it. We have a small sample size with the 12-team playoff, but obviously last year, 3-loss Alabama didn't get over that hump. Now it'd be a little different because Alabama had some bad losses where Oklahoma really wouldn't in this scenario. But I think for them, it's pretty simple. Like you win out, you're going to definitely be in. If you don't, you're probably not unless you get really lucky, right? So we'll see. I mean, they got some help this weekend with the ACC kind of just throwing up on themselves. It feels like only one team right now is going to get in out of that conference, and maybe the same situation in the Big 12, which again also helps. So, we'll see. I mean, maybe, but right now for Oklahoma, obviously the goal is, man, if they can find a way to win in Tuscaloosa, you're 2 pretty, again, realistic home games away from being 10-2, and I think definitely being in. So, one at a time. But it's going to be interesting if they do go 9-3. It'll be again, they'll have an argument. They will because of the wins they'll have had and the schedule they'll have played.
Yeah, and of course, a little bit of help might be needed. Of course, there's the Big 12 has a few teams within the top 10. But you said it. I mean, the ACC slowly falling apart with some of their top teams losing their last few. And now Virginia and Louisville are the top-ranked ACC squads, at least according to the AP poll. And we do need to wait to see what the college football playoff poll is looking like. But it is coming close. And I know Oklahoma right now is set up pretty high up within the top 15, so it will be interesting. But going back to the beginning of the season or the beginning of the summer, I mean, this team picked up a lot of new pieces. And we talked about it a little bit early in the show about the NFL and how free agency is not how you win games. You need to draft and get the right people throughout the years. It seems like it's the complete opposite in college football. Talk about it with what the Sooners have been able to do last year to this year, just with the help of that free agency.
Yeah, well, especially on offense. Defensively, which is also the strength of the team, it has been built through traditional recruiting for the most part, right? I mean, the vast majority of the guys are guys that they committed through high school, and they've built it up. And the depth defensively is why they've had the success they've had. It's clearly Brent Venables' deepest defense, and they have guys on guys, and they have a lot of young guys that are making an impact that are getting legitimate snaps. But offensively, it is heavy portal because they had to kind of start over offensively. It was terrible last year, obviously, and they kind of had to just completely reinvent the entire offense with obviously a new offensive coordinator, and they went and got John Mateer out of the portal, who's the top quarterback in the portal by some measures, or certainly one of the top quarterbacks in the portal. And then they went heavy on wide receivers. It's a brand new wide receiver room with the exception of Deion Burks. They went and got some tight ends. They made a couple of line pickups. I mean, they kind of just had to go heavy all over the place on offense. Isaiah Zatania comes over from Arkansas. He's been their leading receiver so far. And so, and really, honestly, sneakily, maybe the best portal pickup of all, outside of probably John Mateer, has been their kicker, Tate Sandell, who they pick up in late after the spring. He picked him up in May from UTSA, and he had, maybe the greatest kicking game in the history of OU football on Saturday. He hit 3 50-yarders, including 2 from 55, and obviously they don't win that game without him. So, like you said, I mean, they kind of they did what they needed to do, and they found a lot of key dudes that helped right away, especially obviously on offense. And then, you can't overlook what they did at the kicker position, because that was a huge need, and they totally knocked out of the park there, obviously, because he's been unbelievable.
No doubt. The night after, or the day after, I watched the highlights, and it really just shows you how many times the kicking game had to be involved, and it really came down to it. I mean, John Mateer, he did not throw a touchdown, so it needed to really come down to the leg of that young kicker to get in there. But I want to move over to the basketball. Josh Calloway with us from 247 Sports at CBS. And you talk more than just football. You talk baseball, and you also talk basketball. You talked about how last night you were out there, you were having fun with the team.
Sure.
They get the win, put up 102 points, and the Sooners start off the season hot. But again, that's against St. Francis, all right? You're looking forward to Gonzaga, and that looks to be a little bit more challenging. But talk about what these Sooners have in their squad as they look to get back into the tournament.
Yeah, no, this looks like it's going to be a pretty good team. I mean, like you said, it's one game, obviously, against a lower level opponent, but there's a belief around Norman that this is going to be Porter Moser's best team that he's had. This is obviously year 5 for him, and this was by far the best portal class they put together. 4 guys that are all starting, and they all looked the part last night. Some guys that people know, like Nigel Pack, that's obviously a familiar name for many who keep up with college basketball. He's been around, and obviously a great veteran leader, and they get Tate Davis from Notre Dame, and Darian Reed comes over from Alabama, and you kind of look at the 5, and it's like, man, they got a decent team here, and the bench is in decent shape with a couple of guys who are back from last year, and you're looking on paper like this is pretty clearly the most talented team that Porter's had. You don't have like a high-end draft pick like they had last year with Jeremiah Fears, but it's a better overall team. And so, I'm excited to see what they look like against better competition, certainly. I mean, they got Gonzaga, like you said, on Saturday night, so we're going to learn pretty quick. They have a pretty tough non-conference schedule. They play Marquette here in a few weeks. Like they've got some real games pretty quick, so we'll have a good idea. But there's certainly a belief that this is definitely going to be a tournament team again. And then who knows? I mean, if everything kind of falls right, maybe like could potentially be like a second weekend type of team. Maybe a higher seed in the tournament type of team. So there's excitement about this team for sure. And they looked the part last night. It was actually kind of a close game, going into halftime, and they just completely blew it open in the second half. Really started to lock up on defense, and 102 points first time out. I mean, you're always going to like that. So yeah, good start for the squad over there, and they got a lot of exciting pieces that I think got everyone kind of pretty fired up about what they can maybe be this year.
I'm pretty fired up, but just because last year the SEC was so competitive within basketball.
Oh, it was unreal.
And it was so much fun to watch every single game. And it used to be just, we'll wait until the SEC tournament, and then we'll get into the national tournament. That's whenever it really starts getting fun. But basketball all year round last year was spectacular. And, of course, if Oklahoma could get to that second weekend, it'd be the first time since 2016, and it would definitely make for an amazing end to the year. But, Josh, we appreciate your time as always, brother. It's great talking with you. And, of course, with this matchup against Alabama coming up, we might talk with you one more time before we get into it. But let the people know where they can find all of your work online and on socials.
Sure, yeah. You keep up with me on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, at Josh M. Calloway. If you want to keep up with some Oklahoma coverage there, and Sooners Illustrated is us, Oklahoma.247sports.com. That's our site over there at OU. We have our podcast and stuff on the YouTube channel. You can go find that as well if you want to keep up with some OU talk and stuff. And happy to come on anytime. Should be a really fun one next weekend. I'm really looking forward to getting out to Tuscaloosa next weekend. So looking forward to that. Happy to come on anytime.
Always great, Josh.
Thanks,
Appreciate you as always.
Thank you, guys.
Good stuff, Josh Calloway. Find him on X at Josh M. Calloway. And yes, he is looking forward to Tuscaloosa because Neyland Stadium, I will say, totally different environment. But T-Town, I don't think anything beats it. But maybe that's just a little bit of my homerism coming into play. But regardless, we do need to hop into a break. You guys do need to hop into the show, 256-576-9777. If the Braves found the diamond in the rough, well, we'll find that out on the other side in this upcoming season when we get back here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The Atlanta Falcons will play on Sunday morning in Olympic Stadium in Berlin, Germany, against the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts bet down from a 6.5 point to a 5.5 point favorite over Atlanta, 48.5 the total. Falcons coming off a 1 point loss at New England, while the Colts dropped a 27-20 decision at Pittsburgh. Coming up in college football Saturday, Alabama laying 10.5 at home with LSU at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The total 49.5. Vanderbilt Commodores a 7-point favorite against the Auburn Tigers at First Bank Stadium in Nashville on Saturday, 45.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford, where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Don't you wish that you had some secrets to help you get an edge on your business competition? Wouldn't it be great if someone could solve challenges at your company that you don't have the time or expertise to fix on your own? You know, there is a solution. Higher Echelon is a world-class consulting firm based in Huntsville that trains employees in sports psychology secrets to drastically improve work performance. Founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and has put that experience to good use. Higher Echelon helps organizations shave hundreds of hours off work time by improving processes, and Higher Echelon helps organizations save and make more money by walking them through technology updates and implementations. You don't have to go it alone, and you don't have to stay stuck. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com today to take your company to the next level. Go higher and go Army.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s, dropping into the mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky once again for your Wednesday. And again, temperatures are going to climb into the low and mid 70s, dropping into the upper 40s, lower 50s through the overnight early Thursday morning.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you guys are looking forward to something to do come the month, as it gets through it, November 22nd, you guys can look forward to Fight Night in Huntsville as Cage Fighting Champions coming to the VBC in the South Hall and featuring 5 title fights, 16 total matchups, and the most explosive MMA action in the Southeast. Looking forward to it. Coming on November 22nd, Cage Fighting Championships are coming down our way. Looking very much forward to that. That's maybe not like what your son is doing right now with wrestling.
No, it's a little different.
Yeah, there's a little bit more punching involved, probably kicking and neck holds or all of that stuff.
Well, and last night was really it was a lot of introduction to just the very, very basics of it. But this is a sport I have never watched. I never participated in. I mean, again, when I was in high school, New Hope didn't even have a soccer team, let alone a wrestling team, which they have both of those now. This is all, every bit of it is brand new. So not only was like he learning stuff for the first time, like I'm taking notes while I'm sitting over there because, I mean, yes, they're going to be practicing 3 days a week for like 2 hours every single day. Oof. But at the same time, there's going to be things that, you know, I can go one-on-one with him more just so that he can understand it a little bit better by going slower. And so I was like, I need to learn this as well. So I'm sitting over there just watching every single move a coach makes when they're trying to teach this little 6 and 7 and 8-year-old how to do something. And I'm trying to like soak it in the exact same way because I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Not one clue about what's happening.
Well, I know it'll help with his stamina. I mean, he'll probably be running quite a bit more so he can keep that up.
I think he liked it because he got to tackle people.
And tackling, yeah. You
it's
get
not really called tackling.
You get a better form, though. If you play football, of course, you see a lot of linemen, a lot of defensive players that also wrestle so they can be ready for the football season. However Ali goes about this, he's going to be a better person at the end of it.
I will say that I can almost feel like that last night proved that baseball may not be his sport because when he got home, his mom goes, "So how'd you like it?" And he goes, "I loved it."
That's awesome.
And I went, "Yeah, he's never said that about baseball." Like it may not click with him just yet, but he's never said that. Whereas with this, he was like, "I got to tackle somebody. I got to like roll around and like do all these other, like, okay, this is a little bit more fun."
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, one thing that I feel like is very not talked about is whenever you have a son, all right, whenever you have some boys, they like to fight each other, all right? I mean, I was fighting my brothers all the way up until I was like 15, 16 maybe.
You guys could actually have like war games at y'all's house. Y'all could bust out into 4-on-4.
We used to brawl. And whenever we went up north to New York, we had our uncles were like getting us to fight in the backyard and stuff like that. We had cage matches. We had a whole wrestling match.
Like I said.
For our moving crew that was moving one house to another house. Like we were doing that. They had to pay a penny. And one of them didn't have a penny, so I gave him a penny and he gave me it back. But regardless, they were paying for it. And it was some good stuff. And I feel like that's what your kid's going to gain. Not just, a little bit of aggression to get that out, but also having those brothers to do it with. I think that is definitely a big thing for a young kid to have.
It's funny you mentioned brothers because the only person that was around his height last night that they partnered him up with was this little girl that she takes jiu-jitsu.
Oh, she's got a leg up.
So yeah, she has a definite leg up on it.
Sister, sorry.
Yeah. And so she kept looking over at me whenever she was trying to like tell him like, no, you're doing it wrong. Like, is he going to get mad at me? Then I was like, no, you're good. I can tell you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm not going to, even though I don't know how old you are, she was fantastic with him. And it was the first time as a parent, and I think all parents know this, that you could see how your child was when they walked into the practice at the very beginning. Like, he was so nervous. He didn't even want to do any like the warm-up drills because they were, teaching you to do like front rolls and back rolls, all this other stuff. And he's like, I don't know what to do. So he just stood there. And I was like, come on, dude, you got to do this. Like, come on, this is literally the very first thing of the practice. But from the way that he was acting the first moment that he got there to what he was doing at the very end of the first practice, to actually see that growth through an hour and a half, I was like, oh, hold up. Like, I got a video of it. I posted on my Instagram, on my Facebook. Like, I haven't thrown it out on Twitter or anything like that. But it was like one of the last times that he got to practice a double leg takedown. And I was just going, an hour ago, he had no clue what that was. And now he's like doing it and like barrel rolling like he's supposed to, going, oh my heavens.
A little bit of character development.
Best part about it for any parent, went home. 10 minutes after being at home, he was asleep.
Wore him out.
Almost slept all night in his own bed. I was like,
wore him out.
Here we go. We have figured it out.
Well, Ollie might be a wrestler and might not favor baseball at the moment.
It's fine.
But Walt Weiss favors baseball, and he is the new GM of the Atlanta
He's the new manager.
Braves.
He's actually about to speak with the media.
Manager.
We'll be back.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
We are a championship school, and school is in session. Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on the LSU Tigers at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Our coverage begins at 3:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Does it really matter which dealership you buy from? Short answer, yes it does. Hello, I'm Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford. Before you buy, take just a minute to check out the dealership itself, because where you buy can make all the difference. Sure, customer reviews tell you what others think, and that's good. But when Ford Motor Company itself recognizes a dealer, that's something special. Woody Anderson Ford has earned Ford's Triple Crown Award, an honor achieved by only the top 1% of Ford dealers in America. It's based on superior customer satisfaction, sales excellence, and exceptional service performance. In other words, the best of the best. So when you're ready for your next car, truck, or SUV, come see how we earned our Triple Crown status. Superior service, sales excellence, over-the-top delivery, that's Woody Anderson Ford. And we hope to see you soon.
Lake Gunnersville Ace Hardware is your locally owned and operated hardware store. We're not just about numbers, we're about helping neighbors, because our Ace Hardware store is part of your community. We're committed to being the helpful place by offering our customers personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience. As the helpful hardware folks in your neighborhood, we promise that helping you is the most important thing we have to do today. Stop by and visit Lake Gunnersville Ace Hardware today, 1536 Blunt Avenue in Gunnersville.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Vector Security Champions Lane, the best pregame fan fest in college football. For more information, visit championslane.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are some thoughts from Alabama football head coach Kalen DeBoer as Alabama prepares for LSU.
Coming off the bye week, I think it was very productive. Guys got
chance to get their bodies freshened up and mind as well. Yesterday was a great practice for us, full of energy and getting a chance to dial in the end of the week and going into yesterday on LSU and just always focusing on continuing to improve. I think that our guys still really believe that that's the case. That needs to be the mindset we always have in our program. But heading into this game against LSU, we expect nothing but their best, a high level of energy. It's going to be a great environment. I'll just add that we need our fans to continue to be what they've been and show up and, continue to make Bryant-Denny Stadium the hardest place to play in the country.
I'll have more in a moment.
Tide fans, are you ready for game day in Tuscaloosa? Don't miss the ultimate pregame experience this season at Vector Security Champions Lane. Opening 4 hours before each home game, this Fan Fest has everything you need to get pumped for kickoff. Located next to the Walk of Champions, you'll enjoy live music, player autographs, the best food trucks from all over Alabama, and ice-cold beer in our Legends Lounge beer garden, where there's never a cover charge. Check out ChampionsLane.com each week for the latest updates. Roll Tide!
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Vector Security Champions Lane. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The Atlanta Falcons will play on Sunday morning in Olympic Stadium in Berlin, Germany, against the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts bet down from a 6.5 point to a 5.5 point favorite over Atlanta, 48.5 the total. Falcons coming off a 1 point loss at New England, while the Colts dropped a 27-20 decision at Pittsburgh. Coming up in college football Saturday, Alabama laying 10.5 at home with LSU at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The total 49.5. Vanderbilt Commodores a 7-point favorite against the Auburn Tigers at First Bank Stadium in Nashville on Saturday, 45.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Not as chilly as we head into the overnight compared to what we've seen other nights across the Tennessee Valley. We're only going to drop into the mid and upper 40s. Plenty of sunshine as we head into your Wednesday. We're going to climb into the low and mid 70s Wednesday afternoon. Should be a great day. Dropping into the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head into the overnight. Thursday equally as nice. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures in the lower 70s.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today. 97.7ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
All right, here we go. Second hour, final hour, best hour, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, WZZN TV. That is where you're also going to need to be tonight at 6 p.m. as we are once again live at Zambrewski's for the Havoc Hour. Do we know what players are going to be there? No. Do we know what coach is going to be there? No. Do we know that they're going to be there? Absolutely. That's the only part that matters. That is it. That's it.
It's the first episode.
We're all having fun with this.
Why not?
Yeah, we're all absolutely having fun. So 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to have drink specials. We're going to have obviously all those types of specials. We'll be telling you about those as we continue, and especially as we get going with the Havoc Hour. Funny note is, so this morning I woke up, I was like, all right, cool. I need to grab me a Havoc sweatshirt because last time I accumulated a lot of those throughout the season last year. Yeah, I have no clue where any of that stuff is. I think I put it in one of those like vacuum seal bags once the season ended and the summer started to try to make space.
Don't want
I don't know where that bag's at.
You don't want the moths to get to them.
Yeah, so I have my variation of a Huntsville Havoc sweatshirt that I'm rocking today. So we're going to go with that one so that over the weekend I can actually find all my stuff because I thought they were all there. I did. Yeah. I thought they were all just in my closet. Yeah, no, it's not the case.
Well, I'm always ready for the winter. That's why I always have all of my jackets and sweatshirts already out. So I know exactly where my stuff's at. So if you want one of my lesser cool jerseys, that I'll bring that out for you. But
no, my jerseys are still there, actually. No, the
there you go.
jerseys are with in my jersey section of my closet.
Yeah, we all have those.
Yeah, it's the hoodies and everything else that I accumulated last year. No clue where they're at. I mean, I swear I think I have an idea, but I didn't think to actually look for it before this morning when I have 3 kids running around. Well, 2 kids running around and 1 running around. And I'm just like, okay, don't have time to look this stuff up. So
it's funny, though, that you bring up your jersey section, and I think that's normal. I wonder how many of our listeners have a jersey section just dedicated in their closet as well. I would love to hear from you guys as we have a wide open second hour, 256-576-97.7, and we're always ready to whip out the jerseys. You guys need to always be ready to withstand the elements. And of course, Fleming Roofing and Restoration can do that for you. Just look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. Fill out that free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up as we're getting into the winter seasons. So that means, of course, there's going to be a lot of leaves, maybe branches, a lot of wind, and you need to make sure your roof is ready to withstand all of the elements so you can sit back, relax, and watch all the sports you want to. That's what Fleming Roofing and Restoration can do for you.
So over the night, obviously, everybody was talking about the Dallas Cowboys and this big trade that they were making, which ended up being Logan Wilson, a really good linebacker. He is a very serviceable guy that can start games for you and can be very reliable. Absolutely. Not the impact player that I think the Cowboys were making everybody to believe to be. During that period of time, also, though, the Titans made a trade where they sent Draymond Jones to the Baltimore Ravens for a conditional 5th-round draft pick in next year's draft. What's really interesting about the deal, the conditional part is if the Ravens and Draymond Jones meet the criteria, kind of what we would talk about with NIL is hey, you got to have 1,000 yards receiving, blah, blah, blah. Draymond Jones, the criteria in the line that he has to meet for that 5th-round pick to turn into a 4th-round pick is the fact that he has to get 2 sacks over the rest of the year, and the Baltimore Ravens have to make the playoffs. If both of those things happen, then the Titans get now a 4th-round draft pick for Draymond Jones. So far this season, he has 19 pressures. That is 7 more than any Baltimore Raven defensive player has so far in 2025. And he is on a 4-game sack streak, and he has started all 9 games for the Titans, and he just got traded up to Baltimore for that conditional 5th-round draft pick. Also happening right now, though, as John was talking about in the last break, was the fact that Walt Weiss has been named the Atlanta Braves manager, and in fact, that press conference is happening this second. It just started.
Okay.
So that is going to be the case. Brian Snitker's in attendance. There's a lot of people in attendance. And so, yes, this is all right. This is the signing and this is the manager decision that made the most sense if you are an Atlanta Braves fan that you're kind of used to the Braves making. But there's an idea that this may actually be a layered type of hiring.
Yeah. And I look back at his career, and of course, he played baseball. He was with the A's back in the 80s, and this was around the time where the A's were good, and they did not want to leave their city. And, of course, they still don't want to leave their city, but they're already on their way out. But this goes back to Walt White or I say Walt White because I'm thinking
Breaking Bad.
I'm thinking Walter White for Breaking Bad, but Walt Weiss with the A's when they faced off against the Giants, and this was in the 1989 World Series. It was when that whole earthquake happened. It had to delay the series.
89 series. Yep.
End of the day, we saw Weiss, get a few home runs, as well as the A's sweeping the Giants and claiming their first world title. And I look at that and I see a guy that's got a winning mentality, but I also see a guy who in his coaching and manager career has not had too much of a spark. All right. We were talking a lot about sparks with Ike Jones yesterday and how the Auburn didn't really have that in that game. As a manager, we haven't seen too many sparks. I mean, he was a manager for the Rockies in 2013 to 2016, and then he was helping out with the Braves as the coach from 2018 to 2025. But What are you seeing from this one, Joe? I mean, just from the surface layer, because we will break it down a little bit more. The Braves get a guy within the organization, played for the Braves back in the 2000s, but what are you seeing from a surface area level that makes this a good hire?
So from a nostalgia standpoint, this is actually kind of cool because he just a few seconds ago, he has a jersey. Well, when he's been the Atlanta Braves assistant coach, like he has been for the past few years, he's wore number 4. But now that he's the manager of the team, he is going to swap to the 22 that he actually wore when he was with the Braves. Nice. So it's kind of one of those like, oh, okay, cool. From a nostalgia standpoint, this is kind of awesome.
Gets the people going though.
Right. And he was a rookie of the year in 1988. He played on the 98 All-Star team that was in Colorado. God, it's sad that I really know that like that. But it's more about with him, the Braves love familiarity with the team. Like they're kind of like that whole Auburn thing is like they want to hire an Auburn guy. God, I hope that doesn't happen. But they try to hire a Braves guy.
Yeah.
And Walt Weiss has been in there. I think what really this is boiling down to is two things. I think that the Braves upper management thinks that last year was kind of a one-time thing, that everything just kind of happened the way that it was. Because with Walt Weiss, a lot of the staff that the Braves currently have, they are looking to keep. So it's kind of like, hey, we want to keep everybody here. Just instead of Brian Snitker being the manager, Walt Weiss is now the manager and everything else stays the same. The one big caveat to this, and I'm seeing more and more of this as things are kind of going along, because a lot of reporters right now are sending pictures of all the players that are in attendance for today, which, you have, Drake Baldwin is there. Spencer Swellenbach is there. Jerickson Profar has already been seen as well. They're also kind of sitting in the back for him. But the key piece to this, Chipper Jones is there. And I was one that said I could see Chipper being the manager because that's kind of the direction baseball is going.
Yeah.
And Walt Weiss fits that bill as well. Former player in the dugout. He's, not really that far removed from a lot of these guys not knowing who he is, because he was managing the Rockies in 2013. That was 12 years ago. Some of these guys were 9 and 10 years old at that point in time, which is also weird to say. But the Chipper Jones part of this is the biggest speculation now, because with Brian Snitker leaving or going to upper management, Walt Weiss becoming the manager, that leaves an opening for a full-time coach. And apparently the Braves have been trying for years to get Chipper Jones in the dugout. Now, he's been like a part-time, like special guest hitting instructor and those types of things. I mean, look, it was Chipper that fixed Austin Riley's swing. Like, for anybody that doesn't know that, it was Chipper that went and taught him what he was doing wrong. And so the Braves kind of look at that and say, look, man, we know you have the eye. We know you have the gift. And the best part about it is it doesn't matter if it's a lefty or a righty. We know you can teach them because you were a switch hitter. And so I think what they're trying to do is wanting to get Chipper into the dugout. And apparently from the stuff that I've been reading over the last 24 hours, that the relationship that Walt Weiss and Chipper have is one in which obviously goes back to when he was playing with the Braves, but is big enough that it could entice Chipper to actually take that full-time coaching position that the Braves have really wanted. This sounds like, to me, if the Braves, or if he wants to, Chipper Jones will eventually be the manager of the Atlanta Braves. That is what this really sounds like. Like, this is Walt Weiss is going to be here. We obviously, if Walt Weiss becomes, the next great major league manager that is like Dave Roberts and he's taking everybody to the World Series and all this, like, that's great. But I think he's kind of also in a place that his relationship with former players is also a reason why you could see him getting hired. And I think that between Chipper, Brian McCann, you can also, I don't know about what Freddie Gonzalez is or is not going to be doing. you could kind of see this being a thing of like, hey, we want some of those old Braves to be back in-house, and we kind of want to keep it in the family type thing. So I think this is more about the relationships that Walt Weiss has than maybe the overall coaching.
Okay.
But as an assistant coach, you're in everything. And he's a great mind. I mean, look, it's not just about the managing side of this, the teams that he's been a part of. Like, he was a part of, obviously, the Braves from the 98 to 2000, which was the last like World Series run that this team was really on over multiple years. Mm-hmm. He was a part of the Colorado Rockies teams when they were, the mile high hitters and all this with Andres Galarraga and Dante Bichette and those players, like, he was a part of those teams. And then obviously he was also a part of the Oakland A's teams with Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco. And he was a part of those, like, Oakland A's that you were talking about. He's won a pair of World Series championships, both as a player and as a coach. So he knows how to win. And I think that's more about, letting the coaches coach and him just being that manager that makes the final decisions on the things when it comes to strategy. Yeah. I think that's really what it is. Because look, Dave Roberts, his mind alone is worth every bit of the money that the Dodgers are paying him. Like, people want to bash the Dodgers for how much money they've spent on their roster. They spent it on players to do exactly what they did in Game 6 and Game 7 of the World Series. They weren't paying them for the other 162 games. They were paying them because of what Freddie Freeman can do in the 18th inning when everybody's dead tired and he's going to hit a home run to end the game. They're doing it so that Yamamoto can pitch 3 of the 4 wins that the Dodgers have. They do it because guys like Mookie Betts, who was an outfielder at the beginning of the year, moves over and transitions to shortstop and becomes one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. Like, that's why they paid this money. And that's the same reason they pay Shohei, because not only is he one of the most terrifying hitters in baseball, he's also one of the most terrifying pitchers. So, yeah, they spend a lot of money, but they do it because those players have earned it so that they can get to that spot. Walt Weiss now has to take the big money players that the Braves have now and get them to that spot by making sure that they're guided along to stay healthy and making sure that they can get to be the team what they are. The health last year was the biggest issue.
Yeah.
I mean, the Braves, God, how many pitchers they use? Like 25, 30? Like, I'm not even trying to exaggerate. Like, they used the most pitchers in baseball last year because of all the injuries. It's all about a health standpoint with the Braves. I mean, you saw it even when they started making the run at the end of the year. It was because a lot of these players were finally healthy.
No doubt about it.
So,
and I look at it and I see the past that he's had. The manager of the Colorado Rockies from 2013 to 2016, he's got so much more talent. And even with those injuries that linger, he's got so much more talent in Atlanta. And he was a sub 500 manager for each of those 4 years.
Yeah, but who isn't in Colorado?
Exactly. And I see that there's possibly, some growth to be had, not just for the Braves, but for Weiss as just a person, because this is a dude that has been very giving. He's given to charities. He's stuck with those relationships that you were talking about, Joe. And for a guy that, gets out of the MLB to go and coach with his sons and stuff like that, that's something that I think is huge when it comes to a personality standpoint. But you got to be more than just a good person to win some games. And as a manager with the connections that he has in Atlanta, I think that there is a way that he can kind of puzzle this thing together. So,
and by the way, there won't be any fights in the locker room as well. For one simple reason, it is not because of the discipline of Walt Weiss. For anybody that doesn't know, he's a black belt in Taekwondo.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to really want to like mess with him at any point in time. I mean, like, it's another one of those things. Like,
your manager just comes in, he's got like the whole black belt around his forehead.
Son, wax on, wax off. It's exactly what he's going to do. You want to see your name on this roster? You want to keep acting like that? Wax on, wax off. You'll be back in Gwinnett. Like, it'll be Taekwondo.
The whole team could use a little bit of Taekwondo training. Maybe Walt Weiss will head that as well.
He'll have it somewhere, like instead of yoga, he'll be teaching them, hey guys, karate class coming up later on. That's how we're gonna do our conditioning today.
Like it's not too different. I
mean, it really isn't. I mean, think about balance.
It's all about the balance.
Making sure that you're at one with your body. Like, see, that's the other thing about when my son doing wrestling. It's not about the wrestling. If he becomes a great wrestler, okay, cool. But it's also about him learning about the work that gets put into being a wrestler and how much effort you have to put in to try to succeed. And then that work ethic, he takes it to other sports.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what is about. Same thing with Taekwondo. You learn so much about your body and staying within yourself and being patient and being calm. It's very much like hitting.
No doubt about it. Well, I would like to know the listeners' opinions on that. The Braves back with this new hire for Walt Weiss. It would be intriguing to see that all come into play this upcoming year. But 256-576-97.7 is the number to hop in. And, of course, you're going to want to watch a lot of the football that's going to be coming to you guys this weekend. How are you going to do it? Well, right now there's a huge battle back and forth right now between all of the TV markets, YouTube TV and ESPN, and we'll try and get you guys all the information on that and so much more, including possibly getting into the Dog of the Week. It's all coming up here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, WZZN TV, and we'll be back right after this.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he can take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Cohen, Marco Bicego, and Fopé. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
John Abraham here for Bobcat of Huntsville. And fellas, it's time to dip into the transfer portal. It's time to bring home that 5-star industry-leading Bobcat machinery, handhelds, and service. And Bobcat of Huntsville is making it easier than ever to buy or rent in just a few clicks. Need your steel chainsaw, cut quick, or trimmer bought and delivered? Head over to bobcatofhuntsville.com or call 256-895-3311. That's 256-895-3311. And start winning with Bobcat today.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Don't forget, coming up tonight, 6 o'clock, Havoc Hour, very first one. And we are going to be starting this all over in 2025 and 2026, talking about and talking with the Huntsville Havoc. So make sure attendance is free. I had some people last night asking me about if you have to buy a ticket or anything like that. Nope. Roll on up, go straight up the steps all the way to the back. You'll be able to see Zambruski's as you walk in, and you can sit there. There's going to be tons of TV. Some of them's going to be on the stream that we're going to be doing on WZZN TV. Some of them are going to be on some of the games that are happening around the country, hockey, basketball, all of that. And of course, you can always get your questions in once we go live, and it doesn't matter if it's on YouTube, X, or Facebook. We'll be live across all three platforms there, so that you can get those questions in for the guys as we kick off our new season of the Havoc Hour.
Very excited for it, Joe. As always, it's going to be a lot of fun doing extra work with you. And, going out to Zambruski's is one of those things. It's a very iconic little restaurant because you get to look out on the ice while the players are going around. And we're talking about some of these younger kids, but also the amount of construction that's going to be going on over there.
A lot of construction.
Because they're, of course, expanding because hockey is growing here in the Huntsville area, and we are all here for it.
That area that the Iceplex is at, between that and right across the street from it, where all the soccer and lacrosse fields and all of that, like that is an area that is continuing to get upgraded. Yeah. And in fact, not this coming weekend, but the next weekend at John Hunt Park, the GSC is hosting their conference championship over at John Hunt. So you're going to be able to go there and watch. Hopefully UAH is in it. Their first match is coming up on the 9th as they're going to be heading back to Memphis to play CBU on the men's side. We're still waiting on some decisions on the women's side because some of the tiebreakers have yet to fall. And so we're waiting on a couple of matches to wrap up. But as far as the men are concerned, they will be playing CBU on the 9th. And then if they advance past CBU, they'll be playing at John Hunt Park in the semifinals and hopefully the finals over there. So that whole area, you have a ton of soccer fields and / lacrosse fields that are being built. And now with the addition of the Iceplex, you're going to be having even more because of that new arena that they're going to be building beside them.
Is John Hunt Park like underhyped? I mean, you just named off a few of the sports.
I think it's just large
because you said soccer. You said what else did you say? You said that there's
soccer, lacrosse. Can happen there as well.
So there's hockey, and then
I think there's baseball and softball that can also happen there.
It's right behind the tennis courts, of course, at the Huntsville Tennis Club. And then on top of that, there's beach volleyball, there's track, there's cross country. There's just so much over there, and it's just right in the center of Huntsville. I think it's wonderful.
What's really funny about it as well is because it is also like so spread out that you have like that, Milton Frank is even kind of part of this as well. Like it's that big. And you have the aquatic center that is over there as part of that.
I haven't checked out volleyball. I haven't checked out the aquatic center yet. Also, the skate area where you can just go and skateboard skateboard or rollerblade, which I like to do every once in a while. So, I mean, it's got a sport for everybody over there. It's awesome.
And you also have what used to be the Huntsville City Golf Course that is kind of changed as well.
Yeah, more cross country, more disc golf going on.
You do have disc golf. You also have like a landing pad for like airplanes or like miniature airplanes that can fly around.
Have you been back there?
I actually have some friends that contacted me a few weeks ago because they do the races over at the racetrack behind where John Hunt Park is. So there's a
racetrack?
Yeah, it's like a small, I don't know what's the smallest little racing car that you can go with if you're like just getting into racing.
Those little buggies.
Yeah,
there's one of those back there?
Yeah, there's one of those back there as well.
What?
Yeah, I think it may actually be closed now. I think that's kind of part of the reason why
I thought the only racetrack we had was out going towards Arab, you know?
So there's mountain bike courses. They have all of that. And in this, and so John Hunt has kind of taken over that kind of side as it's kind of been spread out around it. So yeah, there is a lot over there that you can do and be a part of that. Obviously now with the addition to what's happening at the Iceplex, that is kind of the venue. And that's also part of the reason why you're seeing the Division II having like their soccer national championship here. And you're having the GSC having their conference championship here as well. And that's the reason why we're seeing more hotels, which I know people complain about, but the only reason and only way you can get these events is by building the hotels.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because it's all about occupancy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first things that gets looked at when you're trying to bring an event into any city is they look at occupancy. Like when with the whole idea with Nashville and the new Nissan Stadium, the reason why and when they start to talk about Final Fours, WrestleManias, they start talking about Super Bowls, the first thing they look at is there going to be enough hotel rooms for the number of people that's going to be coming to the city for the event?
No doubt. And as you see right next to Joe Davis, if you head down the Parkway, you'll see there's even more construction going on. And I believe, what is it, Hattie B's?
Hattie B's chicken.
That they just
Talk
put
about
in
some
there.
hot chicken.
And that's that type
Yeah.
that's that type of community area that a lot of sports venues are starting to add. But now there's more construction right behind even the Hattie B's. And I believe it's going to be another hotel. I mean, it's going to be right next to Joe Davis. If you guys either get a room, again, I'm speculating that it's a hotel, but you'll be able to literally look out onto Joe Davis. And I think that is an awesome venue to have here in Huntsville. And it's going to be up a lot faster than you think. I mean, that whole little plex right next to Joe Davis was built up in the span of just a few months. So, I mean, Huntsville's growing, and we are all here for it. But you know what else is growing, Joe? All of these different TV deals all across, and YouTube.
Except for YouTube TV, because that deal's not growing.
YouTube TV is, of course, having a very tough time. A lot of people switch to YouTube TV, cut the cable, and now they're getting a little upset because right now Disney and ESPN, they're having a weird, controversial time with Google and YouTube TV.
So that means that college football fans tonight cannot watch the college football playoff top 25 announcement because they don't have ESPN.
I'm wondering. Well, here's the thing, though. Google is requesting that Disney restore not only ABC but also ESPN networks to YouTube TV while the parties continue to negotiate the deal. So currently, there is a little bit of work being done to get both ABC as well as ESPN networks on to the site, and that, of course, would help out for a lot of people. And they're also promising to get the channels back on the streaming service within hours if Disney agrees. So they would make quick work of it, but there's a lot of money that is in question here, and I think a lot of it comes down to that ESPN app that they just rolled out. I'm wondering how much Disney and ESPN are trying to kind of separate themselves, maybe create their own conglomerate of TV.
So I kind of wonder about this from ESPN's standpoint because, again, like you have the college football playoff selection, or not selection show, but the top 25 is supposed to happen tonight. And so we know that a lot of people are going to want to at least know, even though we know it's not the end-all be-all, but you're going to want to watch that. And you're obviously going to want to watch, you know, if you have YouTube TV, you weren't able to watch Monday Night Football, which could have been a good thing if you're a Cowboys fan, and you're not able to watch any of these things, and so that's why this is such a big deal. But I also believe that from a business standpoint, this is also ESPN that is now trying to pivot because they have not gotten the returns financially from this deal that they thought that they would.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously a lot of people have signed up. Heck, I signed up. And I mean, I pay for my cable, $60 for 7 months. I mean, come on, I pay for it, but I still bought it just because it's more, every once in a while, you can't also get the ESPN Plus games or something like that. And with baseball and basketballs, in a lot of these smaller conferences are on that. So I wanted to have it so I could watch and research. But
we'll admit, first off, YouTube TV 10 times better when it comes to the UI, which is just like the menus, being able to go back and forth from games, having the quad screen. It is a lot easier, and I would say to some people it's definitely worth the money compared to something that me and Joe are paying for, which, yes, look, we get the sports, but at the same time, it's a little bit more of a hassle.
Yeah, well, we don't have no DV. It doesn't come with a DVR.
No.
It doesn't come with anything like that. But in real time, if I'm talking about what I can watch in real time, I'm set.
No doubt.
And if I want to watch something like replay, that's another reason why I got the ESPN app, because I can go back and watch any game that was on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is a combination of they haven't made the money back that they thought they were going to when they launched this app. Plus, I think they're kind of having some buyer's remorse with the WWE stuff, because the WWE pay-per-views or PLEs that they've put on ESPN haven't had the draw that they were hoping it would. But now they also haven't had your Survivor Series, your Royal Rumbles, your WrestleManias, like some of those big ones. I don't know if John Cena's final match is going to be on there or not, but I would assume that it's going to get a large number if that is the case. So I think that part of this deal is they're trying to counter that by getting more money from the television deals so that they can kind of offset some of this cost. And so I think that this is plus a lot of Disney movies that they've put out recently haven't really been the best. And so they're not making money on that side as well. So there's a lot of things about the Disney deal that they have made that I think is kind of a buyer's remorse, that they're trying to get a lot of this back because they have spread themselves out so much. I mean, if it wasn't like, you think about it, we just think of the major properties like the ESPN, ESPN2, SEC Network. You also have to think of all the ESPN Plus stuff, because look, I've talked to enough universities over the last 6 weeks to know that schools that are involved with ESPN, just to be on the ESPN Plus, ESPN has to give them this equipment and stuff like that they need to do the broadcasting. That costs money as well. And it's not like 10 or 15 universities they're doing this for. They're sending it out to hundreds of universities so that they can be on this ESPN Plus network, because if not, then these teams and schools would be on something like Flow, like what UAH and the GSC is on. So it's a lot of money that they're spending to basically corner the market in sports. And I think that with the YouTube deal, as it would be with the DirecTV deal or anything else, they're trying to make some of this money back, because look, I love NFL Network. I've watched it for years. I used to watch Good Morning Football religiously every single morning until it didn't start coming on until 7 a.m. and I was already out the door. But if you watch the commercials that were airing during a lot of those Good Morning Footballs, a lot of those were your buy now, call 1-800, or, like a quote unquote PSA. Like, it wasn't the money. They weren't bringing in the money on the network. It was more about the branding and the connections the network had. So there's that side as well, because ESPN made the deal with the NFL where the NFL gave them NFL Network, and in return, the NFL gets a part of the stock of ESPN.
No.
So it's all about them trying to make more money. The problem with it is that it's not like this is going to end. After YouTube, what's it going to be? Xfinity. After Xfinity, it'll be then DirecTV. After DirecTV, it'll be Comcast, which I think that is Xfinity. Then it's just going to go in this big circle. It's always going to be a new deal somewhere that needs to be signed.
Yeah, and as we continue to talk about this, there are some trades that are being dealt in the NFL, and this one actually might mean a little bit more than any of the other ones we've seen all season long. But the Jaguars acquire wide receiver Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. So that's some interesting news that literally just came in a minute ago. Cody Benjamin tweeted over on his X account.
God, I love Jacoby Myers.
Definitely an interesting one. It's in exchange for a 4th and a 6th round pick. And right now, I mean, there's also another team involved with a lot of these trades that is looking to add some more wide receiver weapons. and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And earlier in the show, they did add Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He comes over from the 49ers. He was kind of on the practice squad. He's kind of just been jumping around from team to team, but he was a former Packers teammate with Aaron Rodgers, so that might be something to keep an eye on. But they are still looking at some other wide receivers. One of those was Jacoby Myers. The other one, possibly a Rashid Shaheed from the Saints, because I don't think they're going to be throwing like a Chris Godwin or another player out that might be a little bit more of an oomph pickup. Chris Olave.
Well, this is if you're a Jaguars fan, this is something you pay attention to, because I think the Jacoby Myers trade has more to do with the Travis Hunter injury than anything else. Because a lot of people missed on the fact that he is on the IR right now. He's going to be out for a while with the knee injury, which actually hurts them both, obviously defensively. He was starting to have he was starting to produce on the offensive side as well. And so that was what you were looking at with him. But now when you look at this wide receiver group that they have, it's basically Brian Thomas Jr.,
who is actually dealing with an injury himself now from the last matchup against the Vegas Raiders. So
yes.
They had a firsthand thing. They were like, hey, we got a wide receiver if you need him. After they just totally twisted his ankle, but there you go.
But, like Parker Washington isn't going to be a receiver that can help him on this. But then you look at Jacoby Myers. Last year, he was a 1,000-yard wide receiver. Even in New England, when New England was going through all 25 of the quarterbacks that they were going through before Drake May, he was getting 800-plus yards receiving. He's almost got to a 10-touchdown season a couple of years ago as well. So, this is going to be a guy that could absolutely make the defense shade his way a little bit more.
Yeah.
And if for some reason a defense was to wanting to continue to focus on Brian Thomas Jr. and say, all right, well, if Jacoby Myers, can, then let's see him actually beat us.
Yep.
Then it'll leave him wide open. He had 52 first down catches last year, which was a massive number in that as well. I think that this is a very good pickup for the Jags. Obviously, I hate it, but at the same time, Titans are pretty much eliminated already. And with the Jags right now being 5-3 and them coming off back-to-back losses to both West Coast teams, they actually just won against the Raiders a couple of weeks ago. So they kind of just did a little bit of scouting while they were there to do it. So now they're going to start getting back into division play, because this weekend they're going to be playing the Texans. They still have to play the Chargers and the Cardinals, but then from there on out, it's Titans, Colts, Jets, Broncos, Colts, Titans. Like those are, your in division matchups, which are going to be bigger because the Texans are starting to play better as well. And for some weird reason, everybody's having to catch the Colts now because Daniel Jones didn't find a fountain of youth. I don't know. Maybe he sucked the soul of Joe Flacco. I don't know. I mean, maybe if that was just what it is, like your soul is mine.
I think it's just a better fit. I mean, you don't have a lot of talent up there in New York, and he comes down to the Colts, and golly,
I never thought that you'd say those statements.
Does he have the talent? I know, this it was a Giants team that had a spectacular running back in Saquon Barkley, but when he was gone, I mean, there was nothing there for him.
Well, and I think that is with the Jaguars as well, is it's kind of what we talked about with even with Jackson Arnold with Auburn. When the football does get to some of the players' hands, you got to be able to catch it.
Yep.
Jaguars have dropped more passes this season than any other team in the NFL, and Jacoby Myers is one of the best, most sure-handed wide receivers in the NFL. And so that is going to be a major part of this, is that Trevor Lawrence knows that he can look over at him, and when he's going to throw it to him, he's actually going to make the catch, unlike a lot of his teammates have been doing, because he doesn't have the weapons. He does have great weapons in the backfield. I think he has two really good running backs in the backfield.
Travis Etienne, one of the top yardage running backs in the league. But the Jaguars do have the best chance of getting to the Colts, sitting at 5-3 on the season. They've looked a lot better
play them twice
than last year. But yes, like you said, they got to play him twice. But adding Jacoby Myers is a big pickup. And I know a lot of people in fantasy also have Jacoby Myers at least, I believe, 75%. And this is a pick that, you wouldn't go away from him. You wouldn't drop Jacoby Myers here, because he goes into Jacksonville as a possible number one target, of course, as we penned Brian Thomas Jr.'s injury, and of course Travis Hunter out for the season from what we've seen. So definitely an intriguing pickup there for the Jags, and we'll keep you guys updated on any more picks or trades throughout the end of the show, but we do need to hop into a break. When we come back, we're going to be finishing off with our Dogs of the Week.
That's
and
right.
whatever Joe has to say here in a second.
That's right, because the NFL has made somebody else bend the knee.
Oh, no.
I'll explain when we come back on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it.
We also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live artfully. Live Stella.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. Are those new school clothes wearing out that old washer and dryer? Well, it's time to get off the bus at Owen Home Appliance Center and learn what a new Speed Queen washer can do for you. They're in stock and are ready for delivery now. At Owen Home Appliance Center, quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's right there in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center. 2 locations to serve you, Highway 36 in Somerville and the interactive location at Highway 231 in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Our high school streaming network heads into the postseason. The first round of the playoffs features Buckhorn at Hartselle over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Madison Academy is at home to Hatton. Randolph is at West Morgan. And Sparkman, the region champs of 7A Region 4, plays host to Daphne. Download our app and follow the action all season long. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
This is Bill Crawford with Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
This is your home for Madison Academy football.
Owens in some trouble, eludes a man, flings it to the far flank. It is caught! Right. It is caught by Kreider.
This is your home for the Mustang Zone. Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Mentioned it before the break.
What?
That's the NFL has made another football league bend the knee.
I'm scared because there's one. It could be the XFL. The other one, well, whatever the XFL, UFL, and the other one could be like an arena league. I have no idea about, but I want to know, what do we got?
It is a one in which they have now caused college football to raise their flag and say, okay, we will not compete with you now.
Okay.
Because college football and the College Football Playoff Committee just released their 2025-2026 college football playoff schedule. And everybody remembers how in the first round that they went directly up against the NFL for some of these first round matchups.
Yep.
And the ratings were not great. The ESPN has chosen on that Saturday now to have a noon kickoff, a 3:30 kickoff, and then only one game at night at 6:30, which would be obviously when the NFL is having one primetime game.
Yeah, and I think this is a good idea. Scatter out the football just a little bit because, of course, primetime games are the ones that we like to look forward to the most. What date did you say that was?
It's going to be December 20th, and that's going to be the first round matchup games.
Yeah.
Now, if you are kind of curious, because I can see John's mind working a little bit, both games right now are considered TBD for Saturday, but it is Packers, Bears, and Eagles, Commanders.
Gotcha.
That are scheduled for Saturday, December 20th. So you'll probably have one that'll be like maybe a 4:30 kickoff, maybe. And then the other one will probably be your 7:30, 7:15 kickoff.
This is the NFL stepping on the college football's toes, though.
Well, no, it's actually not. Because
I understand that the NFL gets into the Saturday schedule late in the season, but at the same time, I'm just like, come on now.
Well, I want to say it's a law, if I remember correctly, that there was actually there's actually a written law about how the NFL is not allowed to play football games during the regular season of college football on Saturdays.
That's a law.
I actually believe that's also a law.
Who's getting arrested if they do otherwise?
It may not be a law, but it may be a contract that the NFL has signed with the NCAA.
I would say that,
I thought Fridays were also supposed to be involved in that, but I think that there's a clause in there about holidays and things like that. That's the reason why they're getting away with like the Black Friday game and all of those lines.
I got you.
And two, that's also during the playoffs of high school football.
Well,
so
the NFL loves to bend knees, and they do it to the college football world, as Joe just threw out there. But you guys can bend the knees of that project that you've been working on. Bobcat of Huntsville can help you out with that. Loaders, excavators, tractors, mowers, and so much more. They got it right off of Highway 28. Just call them at 256-895-3311 or look them up at bobcatofhuntsville.com. And Joe, I don't know where else you want to go with that. If you want to continue.
No, I think it is that time that you make the wolf howl.
Oh, I'm so happy that you say that, Joe, because I got it right here.
Yeah. That's how we're going to wrap up today. Dog of the Week, where we talk about a player over the last week. just a dog.
Can we just talk about Navy losing their first game of the season to
How's that make him a dog?
North Texas?
You talking about the entire North Texas team as your
Give
dog
me a
of the week?
second. I'll get to it.
So confused right now.
You talking about people making other people bend the knees. Well, Caleb Hawkins, running back for North Texas, made the entire Navy squad bend their knees. Is this a good Navy team? Defense been a little sloppy, but they've been able to pull out in every single one of their matchups. They had some close wins over Air Force, over Temple, over a Florida Atlantic team just last week. But North Texas was the what do they say, Joe? The straw that broke the camel's back. That's what they say exactly. Yeah. And Hawkins was that piece of straw as he was able to break off for 197 yards off of 33 attempts, and he had 4 touchdowns in the day. And he also had a few receptions, but that 4 touchdowns and nearly 200 yards against the Navy of all teams.
Also, before we get to my dog of the week, Austin just hopped into the chat and said that Randolph and West Morgan's playoff game is actually being moved to Thursday night.
Have fun, Steve.
Because of weather. That's Randolph.
Oh, wait. Have fun, Bandy.
Thank you. My dog of the week, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Get out of here.
Dude, he went 17 2/3 innings. In the World Series, he only allowed 20 hits, 2 earned runs. He only walked 2 guys and struck out 6 to 10. And came in relief less than 24 hours after throwing like 100 pitches the night before.
He's a workhorse. He's also a Japanese player.
I shouldn't like him. He's an Oryx Buffalo. Screw them. Well, Buffaloes.
Nobody understands those references, Joe.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. You haven't had a show about Japanese baseball yet.
We need to talk about it.
Maybe some other day.
All right, bye. Love you.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey, folks.